Hello, welcome back. This is Miniature Mike. Today I'm going to do a video for the Sculpt tier lists on Imperial Entanglements. So there's only 40 characters in this set, sort of 41, I believe, but the person doesn't really exist. And so let's just kind of jump right on into it now. Let's see what we got first. We got the Chiss Mercenary. I think it's actually not bad. I'll put it in B tier. I kind of like it. I just like, the giant gun, kind of the way he's holding it in front of him. Sort of an imposing stance. I think it's fine. I think that just Mercenary looks pretty cool. The Stormtrooper from Imperial Entanglements. What do I think about this? It's okay. It's a little bit more dynamic than other Stormtroopers. I don't think I dislike it too much. I'll put it in B for now. We'll see if I drop it. For those of you not familiar with this, I think maybe 5 left of these. And then once I get through all of them, then I'll do another set of tier list videos, basically redoing the character, the actual power of the character themselves like it did early on. But since things have slowed down quite a bit, I'll get there at some point. But in the meantime, I think there's a few more of these left to do. So let's move on to the Jawa. I think this is the Jawa. It's not the Jawa Scout. That one's from KOTOR, I believe. This Jawa, though, it's fine. I do like these Jawas more than the original. The original is just like a little cone, basically. These ones a little bit more going on. So I think it's also pretty solid sculpt for Jawa. I'll put a B tier as well. Next, I'm gonna put this one in A tier. I really like the Dash Rendar sculpt. I might put it in S tier. I'm just gonna hold off and wait and see how this shakes out. I think it's just super cool the way he's running. Only got 1 foot down, dual wielding. Sure, the detail could be a little bit better, especially on the head and face area, but it's still really cool in my opinion. I've always thought this guy looks awesome. I might do S tier. We'll just kind of see how it shakes out, like I said. So Ugnaught, the Ugnaught tech, I don't really care all that much for him. It's fine. Different kind of color scheme with the orange. Not bad. Just, C is, it's okay. It's fine here. I am not a big fan of the Imperial. Actually, is this Jerjerrod? Oh, this might be. I always get Jerjerrod and the Imperial, the Navy officer, mixed up because they look exactly the same. They both have hands on the hips out like that, same color uniform. I'm not a big fan of these types of sculpt. Usually, I think unless they do it well, the officers for the Empire tend to not look all that cool to me for the most part. So I'm gonna put this guy down D tier. Not a fan. Got this guy. I think this is the Duro Scout, I believe. Let's see here. I think this thing looks okay. Not too bad. I'm still gonna do C tier. I like the Chiss Mercenary just a little bit more. It's fine. Nothing too crazy. This guy's going on B tier for sure. The Ewok Scout, I think they look pretty cool. I like them. Awesome. Normally when you think of Ewoks, you think of something kind of I don't know, something kind of cute, whatever. This guy's menacing. He's got a giant axe. I don't remember seeing an Ewok have an axe in Return of the Jedi. I probably just didn't see it. But I think these guys look pretty sweet. I'm a fan of this sculpt. Lobot, he's okay. I think for capturing Lobot, it does a good job. I think I like this one a little bit more than the original. I know it's pretty just kind of a boring stance, but I do like it. I do think it captures Lobot well, so I'm a fan. The Mercenary Commander. This guy is pretty cool. I think it looks like he's kind of more of an action pose, walking forward, doing some hand signals. I'm a fan of this one. I might even put it in A tier actually. I think I always overvalue this miniature, probably because I think he looks so cool. But I'll put him up there in A tier. Shock Trooper, definitely a solid mini. I like the reference to Star Wars Battlefront really because it's pretty much just kind of cloned after that. I'm gonna put this guy high B tier. I think it actually looks pretty good, great detailing. We'll see. I might bump it up to A, but really, really great detailing, just kind of on the armor overall. And yeah, like the big bazooka, he's holding a big rocket launcher. Let's see, Scout Trooper. This one's not my favorite. I don't dislike it. I think they do a decent job, kind of getting the armor and stuff. But the original one is probably the best from Rebel Storm, and the other ones afterwards not quite as good. So this one, not terrible, but. It's just not my favorite pose. Kind of like the hugging pose. Not my favorite either. Next we get the Sand Trooper Officer. I think these guys look pretty neat. The thing I really like about these especially, I might even put it up into A tier, is somehow they capture the pose, the way the guy looks from the movie really well. He's just kind of this really straight-legged walk, holding the gun exactly like he does in A New Hope. So I do think I'm gonna put this maybe in like bottom of A tier. I know this might be a hot take, but I think for some reason they capture that look of the Sand Trooper officer from A New Hope just super well. Like even maybe more than just a regular mini. It's just one of those like subtle things for me that I think is really cool. So I'm a big fan of the way the Sand Trooper officer looks. It's just really like feel like it comes straight out of episode 4 and it looks great. Like a very specific scene. These Sand Troopers are better. I'm going to put these guys high A tier. I really like the B tier, I really like the paint scheme, kind of a little new sandy. I don't like the original Sand Troopers very much, just kind of like antennas, like their guns look like antennas. These guys look pretty cool. I'm a fan. So I'm going to put it just behind the Shock Trooper though. Next we got I think it's the Elite Imperial, the AT-AT driver. Pretty cool overall. Dual wielding, super dinky little pistols. I think this is again still B tier for me. It looks okay. I think it's pretty solid. I'm trying to figure out how I feel about the helmet on it, but I think it looks good. And then I'm not the biggest fan of like. You have 2 dual wielding guys here, but clearly Dash Rendar just looks so much cooler, and this guy it's not as awesome. So I'm actually gonna bump him down a little bit further. That's fine. Yeah. Next we get the Imperial, Inquisitor. No, Dignitary. Let me check here really quick. I always get those guys mixed up because they both have that almost diplomatic look to them. I'm pretty sure this is the Inquisitor, actually. Yeah. Well, if I get it wrong, then I'll run into the actual one later. So Inquisitor, I think this thing actually looks pretty sweet. It's pretty basic character, just kind of standing there, but they do a great job of kind of capturing some of those old comic books and how. And also, I think you even actually see one of these guys in the background in Return of the Jedi once. It's just kind of you blink and you miss it. They look pretty good. I think it's a pretty good. Like they're just very purple, but done pretty well. Good detail in my opinion. So I'm a fan of these. I'll put them up there. This guy, I think this guy's going in an S tier. I think this looks awesome. Like in the game, he's kind of a meme, but if you use levitation on him, then he can do something for you. You can use draw fire, but like I think this thing's awesome. Like they get the chair, it's like really good detail on the chair too. Like holy smokes, it's very like it has that loggy feel to it. And then he just kind of like arms up. I think this is just a lot of fun. So I'm putting this in S tier. I think it looks cool. A very impractical miniature, but the sculpt's pretty sick, so I think it's sweet. Next we got Logray. Logray looks pretty good. For an Ewok, I'm going to put him in A tier. I think Logray looks really, there's like staff looks really great. Capturing as much detail they did in such a small area, I think they pulled it off probably pretty well on this one, so I'll put him in low A tier. Next we got the Snow Trooper Officer. Not as cool in my opinion. I'm going to put this guy low B tier. It's okay. But it's I'm not a fan of the straight-legged left arm. It just looks a little too unnatural for me, personally. Maybe if the arm was bent at like just a few degrees, it might seem more natural of a pose. I think it actually looks pretty good when it comes to Snow Troopers, but I have to bump it down just a little bit. Next we get the Twi'lek Scoundrel. I think this guy's going to go maybe S tier. I might have to bump this guy up to S tier. Yeah. This thing looks awesome. Like the way that the cloak is kind of going off and the movement of it, the way it looks like it's kind of like blown around or twisting, just really kind of evokes that stealth spy type of feel to it. These things look great. I am a big fan of this type of pose. The Vigos do great. They got great poses. The Biff Blackstone Vigo also fantastic. So they're pretty good. All right, Mouse Droid. Where do I put this? I don't even know how to grade this thing. It's cool, it's just 2 Mouse Droids. They're little walking. I don't even know what you want to call them, shoeboxes, but they're fine. They look cool. I don't know sculpt wise. I don't know where to put it, just because there's not much to judge off. But yeah, they're Mouse Droids, so there you go. Next one we got is Admiral Thrawn. I don't know which one I like more. I think the new one actually looks a little better in some ways. The old one, I do like how it has the look of it from the Thrawn trilogy, basically. This one looks pretty sweet overall. I'm going to put a lot of B tier ones for me on this. I think Thrawn looks pretty nice. I kind of like how the way they do his hair here as opposed to the Universe Thrawn, so I'm going to put him probably bottom of A tier. I think it looks good. Next off, we got let me take a look. I think this is the Veteran Rebel Commando Yeah, I don't want to be wrong on that. I think it's the veteran Rebel Commando. I'm pretty sure. Pretty solid B tier again. I think they do a great job with the whole getup. Looks really solid, detailed to me. Not bad. I'll put that throw in B tier. Crick's mating is fine. I'm gonna do low B tier. Just kind of a boring. Like it does. They do good They capture what he looks like in the movie pretty well. Like he even has that kind of like pointer stick in his hand, kind of the way he holds it in Return of the Jedi. That's done pretty well, but I feel like there's not a whole lot else to go off of. It's fine. It's fine. So it's kind of like Lobot. Like they do capture the character just right, but there's not a whole much else to go off of. It's not like you can just have this awesome action pose with them, but it is what it is. Kip Duron, I think Kip Duron's going straight to A tier. This guy looks pretty sweet. I don't think it's an S tier for me personally, but Kip looks pretty sweet. Like again, cloak kind of coming back, kind of like a more low to the ground pose, arm extended for force power. For me personally, I don't know if I would say S tier, but he's pretty good. Next is the Whippet Tracker. This thing is a pretty sick looking creature, so I'm going to put it up top. I just think, I don't know, as a creature, it looks terrifying. I don't really use these in the game much at all. In fact, I don't really look at the card much. I don't even know what they do. I'd have to remind myself, but I've always thought these things look pretty sick. Rebel Trooper, this goes down here. I don't really care for the Rebel Trooper look in general, but I don't think they don't capture it as well right here. I think even the Rebel Storm ones are better, honestly. Let's see, Leia, a bounty hunter, basically. This one's okay. I'm going to put it in B tier. I don't love this one, but it's okay. I mean, it's a decent pose. I get why they have to take the helmet off so you can tell it's Leia. So it's fine for that matter. It's just Leia never actually really looks like that unless she was with Jabba, basically. Like that split a moment when she gets captured, essentially. So it feels like it's not exactly something you like. It's not something you'd actually see in the movie because she's never like presented this way with a mask off. So it's a little odd. So I'll kind of put it down here. It's fine. Bothan Commando. I'm gonna put these guys higher in B tier. I think they look so cool. I think they captured the Bothan look maybe better than the Bothan Spy. And then I just love the big gun, the giant rifle he's holding on to. Plus, I love these guys in the game. So I think these are solid, just solid B tier look overall. Not the most interesting pose or like in terms of what it's the action, but it's fine. R2D2 with extended sensor. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's just an R2D2. I'll put it just throw it in C tier, like top of C tier. It's fine. Like you can't beat R2D2 Astromech Droid. That one's the coolest by far. Looks awesome. The sensor, the thing about this R2 as well is I need to compare the sculpt to the other one. It feels like this guy is like oversized, but I'm not sure. Amara Jade, or in this case, just Erica. I don't know how I feel about. I think the original Mara Jade's way cooler. This one's okay. The problem I have with this particular sculpt, so the other one, she's definitely leaning back a lot more and kind of shooting upwards, whereas this one, she's supposed to be shooting straight across, but oftentimes I see a lot of these sculpts and they're kind of bending like she's aiming at the ground. I'm not a huge fan of this. I'm still gonna respect it and put it in B tier though. Like they do a pretty good job capturing her look in general, so it's definitely solid. I'll do like center of B tier, but I'm just bummed that a lot of these sculpts I see, and I've resold a few. I have one, and they're oftentimes just leaning forward. So anyway. Snow Trooper, I do like the Snow Trooper just a hair more than the Commander, just a little bit. Let's see here. Next we got Rebel Commando Luke Skywalker. This one looks pretty good. I'm going to actually stick this in A tier. I wish there was just a little bit. I wish the cloak didn't seem as clean. It almost seems like silky instead of like fabricy, because they've done this cloak before on the Rebel Hero versions for Han Solo and Leia, but for some reason it doesn't quite come off the same way as it does here. I don't know what it is, if it's too glossy, but it's still pretty good. I think it looks great for Luke Skywalker. I think one of my more favorite Luke Skywalker sculpts in general, but it's a classic one. So next, Rebel Commando Pathfinder. I think this actually has a decent amount of detail on it. Like if you look at his clothes, the way they're like kind of wrinkled and stuff, not bad. I'm gonna put this one low B tier. This guy looks ridiculous. This Bespin guard, woo, man. I'm trying to figure out what this guy even looks like. He reminds me of something like a bellhop or something in like a hotel. I don't even know. Sorry, the original Bestman guards, they're whatever, but I think these guys look terrible, so I've got to put them down low. If you're gonna make me laugh, you're going in D tier. So maybe that's a compliment in some ways, but nah. General Riken, I think this one looks pretty solid. Again, just more of an officer class character. Doesn't necessarily stand out and look incredible, but of these officers, I'm gonna put Riken first. Look, I like it. Next we got Throne Palpatine. Ooh, this is a tricky one to judge. It's really cool. I'm gonna put it just up to an A tier, honestly. I might put even an S tier. I just think it's a really cool. Like, it's just stationary. Like, it's this giant throne from Return of the Jedi. Just kind of chilling in it, and I don't know. There's just something about this particular sculpt that I think is just so cool. It's just kind of a little bit. It's a large sculpt. You know, almost kind of just like, what's the right way to say? Almost like ominous, but it kind of gives it that feeling. It's Emperor Palpatine there. Don't get too near him. He'll mess you up. Just kind of this immovable rock. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm a fan of the Palpatine in chair. Looks good to me. Back to tank, it's whatever. You know, looks okay. Bottom of C tier. It's just a back to tank. It's okay. I like how they get the translucentness done well. It's solid. Let's see, Caesar. Where am I going to put Caesar? I think this one looks better. Like the other Caesar pose, almost looks like an unimpressed just person standing there, arms folded, with a gun. This one doesn't have a gun, but I do like kind of the more details going on. Like you have like, you know, parts of the cloak coming off. They do a much better job with the clothes. I think the detail looks nice. I'm actually put this Caesar probably pretty high. Yeah, I'm gonna do high A tier. I think this one looks great. I'm a fan of it. Looks good. Okay, next one is Darth Vader Legacy of the Force. Unfortunately, I think it's still cool-ish, but I have a few problems with this Darth Vader. I think if I remember right, the left arm just proportionally doesn't really work on this Vader. I'm pretty sure it's this one. I'd have to pull a figure out and look at him close up again. But I think it was this left arm was just like uncharacteristically short compared to the right arm. And the way the cloak is blowing, I can see what they're going for. They're trying to make it look really cool. I think it looks much better when the entire cloak is going behind him, getting kind of blown backwards. But in this case, it almost looks like he's, you know, going through a windstorm and like a black, you know, sheet or rug or cloak or something just kind of like flew into him and he's trying to like get through it. Unfortunately for me, maybe, you know, if it's cool for you, you know, hats off. But for me, I don't think it's bad as a Vader. So I'm going to put low B tier because it's hard to really screw Vader up. But it doesn't work for me as well, unfortunately. So there's much cooler Vader poses in my book. Anyway, I think that just about does it. These 40 character ones are really quick. So let's recap the S tier. We got C-3PO Ewok Deity, Dash Rendar, Twi'lek, Vigo, Black Sun Vigo, and then Emperor Palpatine on throne. Honestly, I think Imperial Entanglements, not bad. Sculpts, honestly. A lot of just kind of decent ones in the middle. A couple D tiers I don't like. Some A tiers that I think are actually pretty cool looking. So honestly, not bad. I know typically people will comment on later sets kind of having more lazy paint jobs and sculpts and so forth. But I think Imperial Entanglements is fine. I think it's okay. There's some pretty solid stuff going on here. So I'll leave it at that. But anyways, thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and definitely comment on these. I'd love to hear what your favorite sculpts are from this set. What did you think? What were my hot takes? Definitely comment down below. And just keep an eye out for future videos. Like I've said before, they'll probably be slower here and there, unlike what I was doing earlier in the summer. But it's just been a lot of fun making these for you guys, and I'm just grateful to have the awesome community here that I can share this with. Star Wars Miniatures is a blast. But I'll leave it at that. Until next time, have a good one.